Hey guys, Mr. Farmer here. Again today we're doing chapter 22 of AutoCAD. This is all about block attributes and data links. Objectives today, we're going to be able to use the @def command to define block attributes, be able to control the display of attributes using @display, know how to edit existing attributes with @edit, be able to edit attributes with @edit, be able to redefine attributes using the block attribute manager, be able to use the data extraction wizard, which is a pretty cool tool, and know how to link data in an Excel spreadsheet to an AutoCAD table. So lots to cover today, really handy stuff. Before we jump in, I just want to go back to chapter 21, which I believe Mr. Dieter covered with you, and remind you that a block is simply a group of objects that are combined into one object using the block command. This is typical for like making symbols, or if you're drawing something that you're going to use over and over again, you can create a block. So like a doorway or a window or a resistor symbol or something like that, you would use a block command. So you can essentially copy and paste it. You make it into one unit. So here we go. I'm just going to start a new AutoCAD template. I'm going to set my grid to 1 and my snap to 1. And let's just use that resistor example. That's a good one. So let me draw a little resistor here. For those of you that don't know what a resistor is, this controls the current in an electrical circuit by only allowing a certain amount of current to flow through. Right? It resists the flow of the current. We'll get into that more in engineering year number 2. Right? So here's my poorly drawn resistor. If I'm going to make a block with an attribute in it, I don't want to make this a block yet. First, I want to create my attribute, and then I'm going to block it all together. So to go over those steps, number 1, create the objects that will comprise the block. So these lines, that represents the resistor. Use the @def command to create and place the desired text strings associated with the geometry, right? Number 3, use the block command to convert it. So once we've got the attribute here, we're going to block it all together. And then use insert to insert it as needed. And then the attribute that we create will prompt us to put in a value. So let's use that attribute define command, @def. And we're going to create a new attribute. What is an attribute? An attribute is just a line of text. It can be numbers or letters associated with a certain block. Here's my block right here. An attribute can be thought of as a label or a description for the block, but it's a little bit more than a text description. It's live. It gives you the chance to edit it each time you use the block. So let's put a tag here. We'll say this is resistor number, and then the prompt is going to say like enter resistance value. Okay, and then the default value, we'll just make it 100 ohms. Cool. Specify on screen, top left. We'll make justification center. Yeah. You can do annotative text, so it'll resize when you print it, or you can do standard text. We'll make the text, I don't know, 1 inch tall with 0 degrees of rotation. And we'll hit OK. And we'll pop that right. Uh-oh. Let me try that one more time. Resistor number. Enter resistance value. We only want one line. Default value is 100 ohms. And justification is center, standard, 1 inch. Okay, let's try this one more time. We'll put it right here. Very good. Okay, so we've got our geometry, which is this. And we've got our attribute, which is this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to block this all together. Block. And we'll call this resistor 1. Right? And notice you can change the base point, the object's behavior, the scale, all this kind of stuff you can modify here. I'm going to hit OK. It says no objects have been selected for the block. Do you want to select objects? Yes. So here we go. Click. I'm going to use the window select, enter, and I have my block. Perfect. Looks good. 100 ohms. There's my block. So let's say I'm making a drawing and I need to add in another resistor. Do I have to draw this over again? No, I can insert the block. Well, what if it's a 200 ohm resistor? That's okay. I've created an attribute for my block now. So let me show you how this works. I'm going to insert this block, right? And we'll put it right beside the other one. Click. And now it's going to prompt me for the new value. Enter resistance value. Well, let's say this one is 500 ohms. Okay. Automatically updated. Pretty cool, right? You can see where this would be super handy if you're making a complex drawing. Okay, so that's attribute define. It allows you to define attributes for future combinations with the block. And then in here, I want to make sure we talked about everything. The tag. This tag right here is defined as the descriptor for the type of text that you're going to enter, such as the model number, the part number, the name. On the tag, you cannot resistor number prompt enter value default 100. A quick note on the tag, you cannot have spaces up here. So if I try to hit OK, it's going to get mad at me. The tag may not contain spaces. So a lot of times we'll just use an underscore in place of a space, right? That is the tag. Okay, the prompt. The prompt is what words or what prompt you want to appear when the block is inserted. So it's like what question is being asked when you insert this thing. Here it's enter the value. And then the default attribute value, this is the default text that appears when the block is inserted. So if you don't change it, it's just going to stay as 100 or whatever you put here, right? There is an @display command. Let's get that up here where you can see it. @attribute display command, where you can turn it on or off. This is used if you've got like an invisible attribute. So if you're defining and you've got invisible checked, just to kind of speed up your rendering, you can use that @display to turn that on or off and make it visible or invisible. There's also verify. So you noticed if I insert this block, right? Insert the block. We'll put it right there. It's going to pop up with a dialog box, a big dialog box to prompt me. So I'll make this one 200 ohms. Okay, good. If I've got attribute dialog turned to 0 and then I insert it, it's no longer going to prompt me with a dialog box. It just gives me this little command line prompt, right? That's the difference. So you want to make sure attribute dialog is set to 1. That way you get that big prompt when you insert your block. Okay, let's see. Lots of tools. As always, it's a good idea to review the book before you take your quiz. There is attribute edit, right? Where you can click it and edit it right there. That's attribute edit. There is, so what's really fun about this chapter is some of the commands have really cool names. And one of the cool names is eat edit. Actually like eat edit. Like you're going to eat an edit, which is strange, right? Eat edit. That is where you got this enhanced attribute editor. So we'll click a block. And I can change a lot of the properties here for the attribute that I put in. I can put the layer, the line weight, the text options, the styles, the justifications. I can turn it backwards and upside down, all kinds of stuff. That is enhanced attribute editor. The command is eat edit. Eat edit. Pretty cool. Okay, moving right along. There is a find command. So if you think back to chapter 20 or chapter 18 when we were dealing with text, there's a find command where you can find and replace text. There's also a find command here that you can use with your attribute values. So you can find in your attribute values, 250 ohms, and we can replace all those values with 255. Let's see if it works. Yep, there you go. 255. Done. Okay. We talked about attribute editing. Annotative. Okay, this is one of my favorite commands. Let's say we want to edit this block. So we can go up here to the toolbar, right, and we can go into the block editor and find the block that we want to edit and go in here and we can change some stuff around, right? Or you can use this super cool command where you can modify the attribute. And it's called, you'll never forget this one, Batman. Batman, Battman, Batman. And this takes you into that block attribute manager. So I can take the attribute that I've put with this block. Notice you can change the blocks here. And I can sync the attribute. I can update them all at the same time. I can move them up, move them down. I can edit them. So I'll just edit this. And you'll see this is where we were just a minute ago, right? That is the Batman command. So let's say I need to change my default value from 100 to 150. I can go to Batman, go here, edit, change my default value to 150 ohms, hit OK. And then the next time I insert, my default now is 150 ohms, right? So that is Batman. Okay, moving right along. How are we doing on time? We're doing good. Okay, I think I mentioned it just a few moments ago, but there is a sync, attribute sync, where you can update. So let's say I change something on one of these blocks. Let me go to the block editor, right? We'll take this, and let's say I change this, so we'll take this point and move it down here, and we'll take this point and move it down here, right? And I'm going to save that. If you've got sync turned on, it automatically updates all of your blocks, right, with the change that you made. If it does not, you can go to attribute sync and select one of your blocks by name. I don't know, resistor 1, right? And you can sync all of your attributes just the same way you did your block. Okay, moving on to extracting attributes. So there's this awesome program called Microsoft Excel. We have kind of touched on it in class, where you can store data, right? It's just a workbook. You can store values, all kinds of stuff. Well, AutoCAD has a link between Excel and AutoCAD drawings, and we're going to explore that. It's super handy for several different things. The table can be used as a report listing a variety of data, such as the name, number, location, layer, and scale factor of the blocks. Attribute information such as prices, manufacturers, sizes, dates, other attribute data. And then this is what I use it for in the real world. AutoCAD drawings contain the intelligence to calculate bill of materials. So bills of material just list the parts that you're using in your drawing. They can contain supplier information, employee records, quotes, billing totals, maintenance schedules, catalogs, everything else. So I don't know if you've ever put together IKEA furniture, but at the beginning of the instructions they have that list of how many bolts you're supposed to have and how many washers and everything else. That's put together using this kind of data extraction tool where it goes to a table. So let's see what that looks like. The command we're going to use is another fun one, eat text, which is data extraction, right? This opens the data extraction wizard. Let's save this. We'll call it resistors. Save, right? And it's going to take you step by step through the process of extracting all the data in this drawing, right? The data extraction wizard leads you through the 8 steps to extract block attribute data, offers a number of features that are not available by any other means. You can extract data from current drawings or from multiple drawings and sheets. You can extract attribute data from nested blocks and X references. You can view and edit the organization of the data and create the table. So let's just go through here. Yep. Next. And this table is going to be gigantic. We'll say sample. Save. Next. And let's say looks good. Let's just say I want geometry and attributes and text. Yep, looks good. And you can actually insert this table into your drawing as well as put it on a spreadsheet. You can manually configure the table. We'll just leave it as standard for right now. Finish. And let's see what this looks like. I'll put it right over here. Ta-da. All kinds of information. So you can see right here, it's got the resistors and their values, their default values. It's got the actual resistor numbers here. I don't know if you can see that. This has all of the information on the lines that we drew. This is overkill really, but it's got all the information about your drawing. It's all right here. And then, if you go to Documents, oh dear, let's try this. Documents, check it out. There is a table in Excel with all of this information, right? So here is your resistor number right here. See that? And then there's the resistors we put in. It's got the quantities, it's got the values of the lines that make up the blocks, it's got the names, pretty much everything about your drawing you can edit and send to a table. So super duper handy. That is the data attribute extraction, the EAT text tool. And then the last part of this is the information can flow both ways. So let's say I have a table in Microsoft Excel. I can actually take that data and move it into AutoCAD. So I can move it from AutoCAD to Excel, or I can move it from Excel into AutoCAD. And the tool for that is called Data Link. The Data Link command produces the Data Link Manager. This tool is used primarily to create a link between the current drawing and an external Excel file. The manager does not create tables or update data between the drawing and the external file. It just transfers it, right? So I can go to Data Link, and it's kind of like that wizard that we used earlier. It'll take you through the process. I don't have time in this video to cover it, but just know that that's an option. So this is all about block attributes, not to be confused with text. These are live attributes. This is chapter 22. As always, if you have questions, feel free to email me or ask in class. Don't forget to read through the book before you take your quiz. And thanks for watching.